What is going on, y'all? Welcome to the Joel Friday TV podcast. I am Joel Friday. Bienvenido. Welcome to the show. Amazing stuff. It's Tuesday. Do me a favor. Hit that like button real quick. Smack it. Lay the smack down on the like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we can get the subscribers up and a message out. Thank you, Nick. Topics to be covered. Today, we getting into it. Oh, we getting into it. Yesterday, what did we talk about? Can a Christian marry an atheist? Right? We broke that down and we talked about basically that the answer comes down to the condition of the heart. Not the titles, not Christian, Muslim. That doesn't do it. It's the condition of the heart. What does the person's heart look like? That's how you determine who you can marry and so on and so forth. So we got into that. We got into what it means to actually love somebody. All that good stuff we got into it yesterday, episode 60. So if you missed that, you could podcast that later. But right now, you got to stay here because today we're talking about, does body count matter? Ooh, it's a hot topic. And we're going to get into it, and we're going to break it down and make sense of it. I'm on Instagram and on YouTube, so I'm answering questions. You can message me stuff. You can also call in, all that kind of good stuff. But if you would like to talk about the subject at hand, you can call in at 888-775-3773, 888-775-3773, and we could talk about the topic at hand. We could fight, argue, fellowship, agree. I'm here for it all, and I'm down for it all in the name of Jesus. So you can't do that. For whatever reason, let's say you cannot call in, right? You're busy, you're at work. You could send a super chat with your question or comment, and I will read them live on air. Usually I make super chats priority in comparison to these other chats going on here. And you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV and send a super chat there with your question or comment, or go directly to the YouTube in the chat box and hit the super chat button there. And you can send a super chat, or if you just want to support the show. Amazing stuff, right? I am on podcast only, audio only podcast. My past shows are on Spotify and Apple Podcast and SoundCloud and Substack, all that stuff, audio only. If you prefer that, my show is there. Just look up Joel Friday TV podcast and you can find it there. Amazing stuff. So, does body count matter? Shout out to Zenny. Zenny is a watcher of the show and the watcher of the JLP network, the different shows. And he actually is the one that gave me the tip for the show topic today. And I thought it was interesting. I was trying to figure out what I was going to talk about. And then he had sent me that out of nowhere. And I was like, that might be fun to get into. So we're getting into it. Body count. Does body count matter? So shout out to Zenny. I hope he's watching. First question, he's in the chat. Zenny says, first question, Joel, what's your body count? It's, you thought. We're going to get into it. So, what's up, Instagram? How y'all doing? Somebody on Instagram says, my body count is your phone number. Dang. They're going crazy. Somebody says, yes. I would say who this is, but I can't read the name. I don't understand it. Flamingo Ethan says, yes, body count matters. Interesting. Fair enough. We're going to get into it. Ivana on Instagram. Hi, Ivana. Amazing. My best friend. So not Yvonne on YouTube. Shout out to Yvonne on YouTube, but Yvonne on Instagram. My best friend. Hi, Ivana. Let's get into it. Let's get into the topic. Bill, what's your body count? We got Bill, the engineer, in the studio right now. He's the engineer of he makes everything run smoothly with the assistance of Nick, the American Anchor Baby. But Bill's gonna tell us right now what his body count is. Nah, I'm just kidding. He almost said it. He opened his mouth to say he's about to say. So, let's break it down. So, according to the world, there's like, I want to explain like on the surface level why people look at body count and they look at it the way it is, like why it matters so much and how the world views it, in my opinion, is just on a surface level, right? Without looking deep into it and trying to really understand it. On a surface level, when you see a girl, right, and you know that she's like innocent and pure, it just looks more attractive on a female. The innocence and the purity looks more attractive on a female, right? But then when you have somebody who's like into sex or into the ego, and it starts to wear on their face and their body and the way they act and move, right? You can start to see it on the face, right? Because obviously, as we know, when you have a lot of sex, what it does is that it brings you down to that lower nature of consciousness, right? And your body starts to deteriorate because it's literally stealing the life from you, right? So it starts to, you see it on your face, you see it on your skin, like it takes away your glow. It does. It takes away your glow. That's what happens when somebody is over-sexualized. So on the surface, prettiness and innocence and purity just looks nicer on a woman than it does on a man, right? And that's why women love, and that's why it's so acceptable when guys do, even though it shouldn't be acceptable when guys have a high body count. But the reason why it's so acceptable on guys, because ego and like a tough face and it doesn't look unattractive on a man. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like off. So it's more acceptable. But tough and sexualized and loose on the face doesn't look good on the female. And that's why in society it's rejected, because just on the surface level, that's what people see. But does it matter when we get onto a deeper level? Does it matter? In my opinion, psychologically, yes, it matters. Spiritually, no, it doesn't matter. Well, what? That doesn't make sense, Joel Friday. Well, let me explain. I think it was a caller, I think Gray. No, I don't think it was of Aaron C, I believe, was talking. Him and I were having a discussion about body count, the difference between men and women briefly yesterday on yesterday's show. And afterwards, I was talking with Hassan, the audio engineer here, about, the differences. And Hassan made a good point about the psychological, how would you say, psychological effect it tends to have on women versus men. I'm going to kind of get into it a little bit, and I might bring Hassan in to kind of say the point that he was talking about. But let me tell you why psychologically a high body count on a female matters. Okay? Because from experience, from experience, and this is for all people, what sex does by default, by nature, amplifies your emotions. It does. And you could try to get around it. You could try to offset it. You can't. Sex amplifies your emotions, period, right? And oftentimes, and we know this to be true, oftentimes, women tend to fall more on the emotional side than men do. Oftentimes, that's just the case. Women tend to be more emotional than men are. So the reason why men often do it and you don't see the results of it as much as when women do is because men tend to be a little bit more grounded in life and understanding, meaning like grounded in understanding what is good, right? Being able to recognize when they're on and off track. So what I mean by that, I know that sounds confusing, but females, they're not as grounded. So when the emotions take over on a female, she doesn't know which way is up, down, left, right. Not all females, right? Not all females, because females who've been raised close to like their fathers or, you know, all these different things, they tend to be more grounded because they understand what the light of God looks like through their father, right? But women who aren't grounded don't know which way is home. So when the emotions take over, right, they go with their emotions, they go with their feelings, and the feelings can have them send them way left, and the feelings can send them way right, up, all over the place, and they're just lost. They don't know how to find solid ground and security. So when they have a lot of sexual partners and they're having a lot of sex, those emotions are taking over and they have them believe in all kinds of crazy things, and then they're all over the place. So it's hard to have any self-control and do all these things. So psychologically, when that happens, women tend to like believe into like these emotions take over. Then women tend to believe a lot of things that aren't true, or they're like going based upon how they feel about things. And 99% of the time when you're feeling something, those feelings are complete lies. And I say 99% of the time because the 1%, you could still be feeling something about the truth, right? But a lot of the times, those feelings that they're feeling is a lie. He's cheating. He doesn't like me. He's not interested. And both boys and girls have those feelings, but when women feel these things, the emotions take over. And they live there. They live in that place and they don't know left or right. So then they start to look at men in a certain way and look at men as evil or bad or judge. They're very judgmental, blah, blah, blah. All these things happen. Right? And now they have this belief system that's based off of feelings and emotions and lies and not based off of the truth and what's grounded and what's secure. Logic. So a man can have a bunch of sexual partners, and let's just say he gets off track, right? His emotions are taken over. A man oftentimes knows how to find his way back to logic. Women oftentimes don't. So then they end up off in la la land, and we don't get them back. They don't ever find home again. I don't know about ever, but they stay lost. So in that case, it makes it harder for guys to want to deal with that woman because she's all into her emotions. She's reacting off her emotion. She's believing lies. She's going on and all these different things. And it's a lot harder to have a relationship with those type of females because their emotions guide them, not logic and reason and truth. They can't tell the difference, emotion and truth. Most people can't tell the difference, let's be real. But oftentimes, women tend to fall in that category a lot harder. It's just a reality. They can't tell. Emotions, truth, emotion, truth. They don't know which one is which. So it's hard to date those kind of women. So that's why psychologically, it's harder to date a woman with a high body count. Hassan, really quick. What were you saying yesterday? If this monologue here sparked anything about what we talked about, do you remember?
Yeah, I mean, it was just interesting, kind of with that caller from yesterday. I forget who that was from yesterday, but that called in, and
of Aaron C.
Yeah, there he goes.
Yeah,
and it was just interesting, kind of, because there's these theories that some people go with the well, I don't want to get it maybe too graphic, but the point is that I think psychologically it can weigh on a woman more than maybe a man, but I think your undertone of everything is about the spirit, and I do think spiritually it's the same. And you even brought up a good point that it may be worse for the man spiritually, just because of the pact between Adam and God and man and God. So I do think spiritually it is the same, but I understand his point from the perspective of the psychological warfare that it kind of takes on a woman, and just the physical, the blatant physical difference that it is for a woman and a man.
Well, why do you think that psychologically it plays a bigger toll on the women than the men? If you could think of.
Well, I would say because the woman is maybe spiritually weaker and the weaker vessel, it kind of just everything in that department starts to kind of get weakened. So because the spirit is weaker and she's the weaker vessel, it's just that I think the thoughts in the mind are more, the feelings, and I think the attachment to it. I think men a lot of times, because even what you brought up a couple weeks ago about how men will almost do everything in their power to keep from their girlfriend knowing that they're cheating on them. And a girlfriend will almost cheat out of revenge or spite and purposely want you to see it. So it all kind of, I think, connects in a weird way of like, just the torment and turmoil that goes on.
Yeah, it's just interesting with the whole, man, I want to go so many places with this. But I agree with what he just said, is that oftentimes that's just a reality, right? And there's women who are, like I said, who tend to be a little bit more grounded than others, right? There are women who tend to be a little bit more grounded than others, meaning like they're able to recognize when they are out of place and in place, right? They're able to find stable ground. There's some who are that way. And like I was saying, is that you want to find women like that, or at least are on their way to seeking that out and becoming that way, because if not, they'll be all over the place. You do not want to date an unstable person. They need to have some type of stability. That's why it's so important for women to be close to their fathers, right? Because the light in the father, the logic from the father, which is the light of God, which is God, right? The light of God is what brings all people understanding, right? And when you have that understanding insight, then you know what is right and wrong. You know what is on and off track. You know when you went left and you're like, okay, I got to find my way back to, and then you get back on track and now you're thinking clearly again. But when you're not grounded, you don't know what is what. And like I said, you'll keep going left and going left, following your feelings, and you'll end up thinking crazy things, doing crazy things, believing crazy things. And you'll just be lost, unhappy, depressed. What do you call it? Suicidal. And that's just a lost person. So, yes, body count psychologically does make that more confusing for people in general, but especially for emotional people. And women tend to be more emotional than men. That's just a reality. I want to get to a call. Oh, I was, but you can call in 888-775-3773. I have so much here that I want to get to, but I don't want to overdo it. But I just want to talk about the spiritual part, the spiritual spot, and the reason why spiritually it's not a problem, right? Because when it comes to the spiritual, there's a reason why women or men choose to do these things, meaning like have a lot of sexual partners and do these things. There's a reason why we do that. There's a reason why. And when you understand that reason why, then you don't have a judgment over people who do it. And that's when it's not a problem, because you understand why they're doing it. So a person with 100 bodies to their name, that doesn't define who they are if they're trying to be better, overcome, and grow, right? You don't judge them for that because that's their past, right? But then once you truly realize why they do the things they do, the traumas they have, the conflict they deal with, the thoughts in their minds that they believe, the feelings that they follow, then you will realize that this person is lost. And I have a clip I'm going to play that like explains the very reason why we become lost and how we became lost and how we started having all this sex and drugs and how we started reaching outwards to feel better inward. We're going to get to it, but let me get to a call real quick. Tyrone, first-time caller out of South Carolina. Tyrone, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Thanks, Joel. Thanks. First-time caller. But, I agree with you. Body count, it does play a strong, it's not only physical, but it is mental. It's like a lot of times people need that affirmation from, whoever they're getting it from, and that it does weigh on them. And after so many bodies, I think it just does more and more damage to you mentally and internally. Other like people can tell too, like when a woman has like a high body count, not to be too graphic, but it'll it may be kind of loose, or it could smell like a fish market, but those are just like some telltale signs, and stuff like that is just not good for like building a future with somebody else.
Right. Right, and that's why it always comes down to the condition of the heart too, because when you get to know somebody and you start to see like, okay, where are they headed? And when you start to see that, then you can know like, okay, well, I got to keep my distance from this person. This person does this. Or this.
Yep.
So that's why I always tell people to, when you get to know somebody, get to know the heart of the person, right? Yep. Get to know their intentions and see, and not about what they do and what they say and the actions they take, right? But more so of like the condition of the heart, because that's how you really tell who people really are. So, yeah, it's not good for anybody. At the end of the day, it's not good for anybody. It takes a toll, and it shows up on. People think that they hide it, but no, it shows up on your skin, the way you look, the things you do. Like it you out, exactly. It plays a toll. So I appreciate it, Tyrone. Yeah. Anything else on the subject? I just got to move the calls here.
No, that was pretty much it. And like you said, it's not only you said it takes a toll on the heart, and that leads into just their life in general. That stuff, and it shows on their face, stress, pimples, and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, people can tell. Just look at you. They can tell.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Joel. Yeah.
Thanks, Tyrone. I appreciate the call. Call me again.
All right, now I will.
All right. Yeah. And I say it respectfully, y'all. I say it respectfully. This is just me speaking my mind, speaking my thoughts about what I believe. And I'm like I said, I'm not innocent. And I always say that. And I don't have to say that, right? Because it's not like I got to let people in when it comes to that. But I'm not innocent. Right? But these are things that I've learned. I'm learning from experience. These are things that I'm learning not just to pick on women or to pick on men or whatever, to pick on people. No, these are things that I'm learning through experience. By watching myself, looking at myself. But if I may, could I play a clip for you guys? Chat, can I play a clip? IG. I'm going to play a clip. Let me pull it up. Hold up. Because this is the reason, this will give some insight to understanding why people are the way they are. Let me see. I'm trying out a new system here, so bear with me. Let me go to, boom, perfect. And here we go. I'm playing a clip.
And my life was a mess, complete mess. And I had hurt a lot of people, and I felt deep shame, deep guilt. I had a yearning not be here anymore. And I don't know nothing about prayer, because I can't cultivate an unforgiving, I don't know anything about silence. I don't know anything about quiet. And I had also been told my whole life, like, your life is your life. You have to make with it what you can, You got to be a good guy, and then you got to get married, and then you got to get a house, and you got to get a job and do good at your job. And like, your life is your life, and things will work out if you put effort in, and, it's up to you. And I always really felt that. And it made it hard to believe.
Let me go back. That right there. Oh, shoot. Sorry, y'all. I'm back. That right there is what I wanted to get to. Because he said, right there, he said he was taught to be a good man, get married, have children, and create a good life. And that was the problem right there. He was taught. So what tends to happen is you're told all the things that you need to do in life. And you have this expectation over your head. and you don't meet it because you were never truly taught to just live and discover. It's not about what you should do. It's not about what you need to do. It's about us discovering it on our own. But what happens is our parents teach us all these things, what you can and can't do, and then we wrestle with that, right? And now we're trying to prove to our parent, or now we like rebel against it, and we want to just be free and to live life. And all people should be able to be free and live life. But no, you can't do it because now you're a bad person. Now you're a hoe. Now you're these things. But nobody would choose that if there wasn't this like standard of how you should live life. Now, there is a proper way to live. Don't get it twisted. But we're supposed to find that naturally. And the only way you can find out naturally, and I'm learning this, is being free and doing and living and learning through your experiences. Doing wrong, making mistakes, being free and to allow yourself to do those things. Experience, but keep your eyes on yourself while that's happening. So that way you learn what is good and not good for you. So that's why all these people pick up these like high body count. These females have this high body count. Why? Because the world and their family and the people around her have told them that a woman cannot have a bunch of sexual partners. They're a hoe. It's horrible. It's nasty. It's not that they're wrong for saying it, but they didn't let you discover it on your own. So now women tend to rebel against that. Why can't I? Why do I have to be what you tell me to be? Why do I have this pressure to be something? And the pressure is what causes them to do that. That's why spiritually it doesn't matter, because spiritually you should be just living and learning. God doesn't judge people the way we judge people. If we truly understood things that weren't good for us, we wouldn't do them if we truly understood them. We're supposed to just be okay with living and learning. But women wouldn't have, or men or women would never have a high body count. They would be virgins if they had fathers and mothers that help guide them through their life experiences without all these extra teachings of what you can and can't do. But instead, just like guided them through their mistakes and guided them through their experiences so they'll learn from them instead of trying to keep them from the world. Am I making sense? I don't know if I'm making sense. So, comment. I'm going to take another call. What's up, chat? Slow Your Roll on Instagram says, not all women have fathers. Yeah, that's just true. That's true. And that's part of a problem. Fathers and mothers are needed together to raise good children. If a mother can do it on her own, she wouldn't need the seed of the male. And if the male can do it on his own, he wouldn't need the ovaries of a woman. But we need each other. That's just my opinion, y'all. Let me take another call and then go from there. Rick, out of Hampton, Virginia. Welcome to the show, Rick. You're on the air.
My brother Joel, what's going on, man?
How's it going, Rick?
Going pretty good. Can't complain, man. I'm gonna get to the point. If I was in the dating scene, a woman with a high body count, I wouldn't mess with. And as far as I'm concerned too, Joel, I'm fair across the board, and I don't think no woman should mess with no man that has a high body count.
Wait, say it. Sorry, I was focused on something else.
Oh
here.
no, I was in no problem with saying I wouldn't date no woman that has a high body count.
Okay.
Or I don't think no woman should date a man that has a high body count as well.
And why is that?
Well, it's that like when you have a high body count, it tells you, in my opinion, something's going on with you. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a difference if you don't have no self-control. Because I'm like this. What if I was in the military, you get deployed for about 6 or 7 months? I should be able to know that you can hold out and have some self-control till I get back.
Yeah.
If I know you out of control, or you can't control yourself, why marry? Especially if I know if I'm in the military that we gonna go on deployment.
Oh, interesting.
You see?
Yeah.
And I just like it's different. Even with men, like when you out there just
Yeah.
laying around with everybody. I mean, and knowing you don't have a relationship, just like messing with a porn star. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't care if she's changed and gave her life to Jesus Christ. I wouldn't want her, because if you go somewhere,
Yeah.
her videos are all over the place.
You can't
Everywhere
trust
her
it.
videos.
Yeah, you can't trust
You
it.
can't trust it.
And I understand.
Right.
Oh, go ahead. Finish your point.
No, I said, and that's just the reason. Not insecure. It's just like I don't want no man or woman should want a person with a high body count, because that's also spiritual too. Because there's a lot of soul tithing.
Yeah. No, all those things that you're saying is true. My where I have to say is that, like, I'll give you an example, is that, like, nobody, if in a perfect world, if we can all rewind, I guarantee most people will rewind the people, their body count, right? They would undo those things. But obviously, there's things that we pick up that allow us to, that influence us to do those things. But my thing is that, like, I always say, and I've been saying more, is that we have to learn how to look at the heart of people, like I said earlier. Reason why is because for me, is that, boy, back then, body count high, right? For me.
Right.
And that's what it was. And being honest, that's just what it was. But I understand now why I was doing those things. I was looking for, to fill a void in the wrong ways. But fast forward to now, my life has done a 180. Like, my interests, the things I seek, and it's just different. So if somebody is gonna be judging me based off of, like, the body count and not looking at Joel for his heart today, then they could miss out on a opportunity of a person that's really trying to do the right thing. So that's why I try not to focus too much on people's past and stuff like that. But if you get to know the person, like I said, and you really start to see them, you'll see if their body count is still has a grip on them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's the ones that you want to avoid, like you're saying. Yeah. If it has
and you're right too.
Yeah.
You're right too, Joel, because people can change. I agree with that too.
Yeah.
I guess it just always be like, for example, some people can change and make good. But let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Could you let's say, like, Joel about to get married, because hey, we know all the ladies like Joel. This brother can dance, handsome, so he got it going on. So let's say this: if a porn star, she's an ex-porn star, would you date her?
Man, that's such a good question, because I'm not gonna lie, that'd be hard. That's a hard thing to swallow.
Right.
The idea of that, realistically, I'm gonna be real, is that it would be hard for me to accept that. It would be hard for me to not think about that. But I also, at the end of the day, if the situation was right and the opportunity was right, I would see what's going on. I would get to know the person. I would, especially if I knew that it wasn't
I agree with that. I agree with that,
forced.
because you just want to see, like, hey, maybe she has changed.
Right.
And, she could be a good person. I definitely agree with you.
Right.
Like, even if you don't date her, you can have her as a friend,
Right.
But I know exactly what you're saying. People can change. It's just like,
and we
even
can't.
a lot of people don't realize. Go ahead.
No, I was just say really quick is that we can't, because we can't just throw away. We can't throw away the. We can't throw the ladies out, right? We can't throw the ladies with the high body count.
Right, and I'm not saying that because I even say that for men. If a woman, she shouldn't date a guy if a guy's an ex-porn star.
Right.
She should question that.
Right.
Because all I'm saying is like people can change, absolutely. But I tell you, when it comes to porn stars, they take that serious. They're not even allowed to work in the medical field or around children.
Yeah.
If they find that out.
No, that's all that stuff does matter, though, and all that stuff does matter, and it does play a part in decision making. It does play a part in like who you want to raise your children. Like that's why we should be careful and be aware of ourselves and do the right thing, because those things do have consequences. But I appreciate it, Rick. Thanks for your opinion. I got to keep the calls moving.
Okay, Joel. Love you, brother. Be good.
Thank you, brother. You too. Man, so much to do, so little time. Super chats real quick, and then I'm gonna get to another call. Ramel in the loop.
Super chats.
Bought a donut and says, "What is this love language part 20? Consider having Hassan as a co-host. The chemistry y'all have is entertaining, but please stop simping for these women in betas. Get back to talk about butts or something." Look, man, sometimes you got to appeal to all people. Not all people want to hear the super spiritual Christian church stuff. Some people enjoy relationship stuff. So I'm just trying to hit on the topics that people like, but also the topics that I like to talk about. But no, you're right, though. I don't plan on being on the love topic, the relationships, forever, because it does get a little boring and dry after a while, and a little bit too like I don't know, weird. So I'm not gonna stay on it forever, but I enjoy it because I've learned some stuff about it. So I talk about it when I see it fit. But Hassan says, "Love language 100." I don't even know if he meant that, but. Part 90. Let me go to Zenny, a first-time caller out of Canada. Volume 220 says it's on. Zenny, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, I just said A 3 times thinking I was on.
Zenny, by the way, for the people watching, Zenny is the one that gave me the topic about high body count. So blame him, not me. Go ahead, Zenny.
Blame me. Blame me. I'm the producer. I'm the new producer of the show.
That's right. That's right.
Hey. So body count, yeah. I think I agree with you in the sense that physically, like when you're in the physical world, it definitely matters. Like when you're not in the spirit, when you don't know the love of Jesus Christ, when you don't know forgiveness or any of that stuff, then it definitely matters because you're just in the physical. You don't know anything of the spirit. But once you're born again, you get baptized, you start knowing Jesus Christ, start walking with him, then you'll know. Like when you have the Holy Spirit, you'll know when someone, if they have a bad past, it'll tell you. The Holy Spirit will tell you if that person has actually changed or not.
Right.
You know? You'll know.
Right. You'll know as you get to know him. Exactly. It'll reveal itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the physical, good point. In the physical way, when it comes to physical things, and the people who live in the physical, in the reality of life, they tend to that does have an effect, and it does make a difference. So you're on the money with that, Zenny.
Yeah, but I mean, if I definitely can't say. I think it's definitely like JLP says. You have to be in that situation. Like if I met a porn star, and I don't want to meet a porn star for sure. I'm not trying to meet no porn stars, but if I did, you know, and she was really like attractive. Like I don't know what I'd do, but like, you know, hopefully I wouldn't do anything. But if she, I feel like the Holy Spirit would let me know if that person's actually changed. Like saying like, oh, I've changed. Like, you know, I'm a Christian now. I know Jesus. You know, a lot of people say that, but not a lot of people actually like are actually trying to walk it.
Right, but let's be real. Let's just be real. Most people today, most of us, 99% of us are all porn stars anyway in nature without the cameras. So it's like
what?
Porn stars in nature without the cameras. Same spirit coming from the same place, doing the same things. Maybe not. I'm not speaking in behalf of Zenny, but I'm just saying that people are still over sexualized, having a lot of sex, having a bunch of different people they're doing it with. They're just not on camera. They're not recording it. But they're still doing the same thing. So it's like everybody's still in some kind of way, not everybody, in some kind of way, it's still, quote unquote, if we're using the term, hoe, slut maker. Same thing. What do you think?
I guess. I mean, there are degrees, though. Like, there's something about doing it and being ashamed enough to do it in your house and having no shame whatsoever and putting it all over the internet. Like,
true.
I think the matter of degree does kind of matter.
True. There's true. And there's like a delusion to wanting to put it on camera, right? But the desire is the same, meaning like it comes from the same place. And it's better not to put your business out there in the streets. If you're going to deal with it, do it in secret, right? But what would be crazy if we were to judge them as, oh, they're over-sexualized if we're over-sexualized too, but yet not doing it on camera. You know what I mean? So that's just the point I'm trying to make. I
feel you. It's like what the Bible says about the speck in your own eye and you're seeing, you know, thing in the other person's eye. Like, yeah, it's for sure. Like, we can judge everyone else with their body count, but like we also have things that we've done in our past. So like all the time we're judging other people, we're not looking at ourselves.
Exactly.
Good point as well.
Exactly, man. I appreciate it, Zenny. Good to hear from you.
Bro. This is good. This is fun. I'm going to call him more often, brother.
Yeah, call me, man. Have a good one.
All right, brother.
All right.
Have a good one. Peace.
Zenny, by the way, is a B-boy. He's a hip-hop dancer as well. So shout out to my hip-hop dancers. And he's good, too. So check him out. Man, I'm so out of time. I don't even know what happened. Didn't even finish the topic. Didn't even get to all the calls. Of Aaron C. called in, and Gray called in, and some other people called in. I can't even get to you guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You got to call me earlier, for one. Got to call me earlier, and you got to call me on Monday. But I always appreciate you guys to call. Let me just say this last thing is that, like, be free. Be free. I watched this movie called Poor Things, and it's about this girl who had this child's mind. It's all fiction, right? It's not real, or nonfiction, whatever one is not real. And a guy had surgery on an unborn baby, and they put the unborn baby's mind in an adult's body, so the adult had to learn how to live life, but relearn everything as a child, right? And if you guys seen the movie, this girl goes through life, and she does I wouldn't recommend playing this in front of children, but she goes life doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Prostitution, all kinds of things, right? But the whole time throughout the process, she has zero judgment of herself about her or anything, right? Because she has a child's mind, zero judgment. And she's doing all these things, but she's just an empty vessel. No judgment, just experiencing life. I'm not saying people should go out and do crazy things. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that live your life. I'm learning this now. Live your life, and who cares about stigma and all that stuff? Be respectful in public, right? Like, don't impose your stuff on other people and be crazy about it, but don't have no judgment about yourself, about making mistakes, about trying things and trying to have an understanding and experiencing life. I think that's the biggest mistake parents have done to us growing up, is telling us too much, too many rules, too many life lessons, all that stuff, instead of just guiding us, helping us learn on the way. No judgment. Don't have judgment about anything. Judgment is a sting, and the sting is the reason why we stay tied to it. Take the sting away, right? There's still a way to live. There's still right and wrong, but there's no sting to right and wrong. Because if you feel the sting, it's guilt, it's shame, it's all these things that are of the devil and not of God. You're supposed to learn from these things, keep your eyes on yourself, and just live life. But I got to end for sure. I got to end because the American Anchor Baby is coming on right now. And he got an amazing show, so you want to make sure you check it out. I got to go. Subscribe, like, and share the videos, y'all, so we can get the message out. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'll see you on Monday. I'm not here tomorrow. I'll see you on Monday. All right, then, Instagram. All right, YouTube. Bye.
In God, because it felt like my managerial skills are when.
Sorry, y'all.